lesson 6, that is regarding with measuring the process performance, right? And here in this lesson, uh, after completing the lesson, you will be able to understand goals, metrics, measures and KPIs, internal and external measures, leading and lagging indicators, balance scorecard and process measures, and primary responsibility of different functional units, aligning process measures, and how to decompose the processes, right? This is the content. These are the things that we are going to complete, right? So to start with the lesson, what do you mean by a measurement? Right? Here we say, we'll start the lesson with a few definitions of popular measurement terms and then proceed to a discussion of how process can be measured. So, what do you mean by a measurement? Right? We measure various aspects, right? We measure length, we measure distance, we measure width, we measure height, right? Various measurements are there. Here, when it comes to the measurement, the simplest definition we can give is measurement is the act of determining target size, length, weight, capacity, or other aspects, right? So when it comes to measurement, the easiest definition that we can find is that it is the act of determining target size, length, weight, capacity, or other aspects. So after you take an object, you can determine the object size, length, weight, capacity, or other aspects we call measurement, right? But when it comes to the processes, right, we have two types of process measures. One is ongoing process performance measure. We say KPIs, key performing indicators, usually measures of process output of value, right? Maybe the production of the day, production of the year, right? Profitability, volume of sales, etc. Right? But when it comes to the KPI, remember one of the most important factors involved in the KPI is that it should be measured, right? We should be in position to measure it. Then we have internal measures of process improvement, normally used when we are trying to analyze and improve specific processes, right? Well, these are the two measurements when it comes to the process by Paul Harmon in 2015, right? In this diagram, right, you would see the more prominent way how you measure the performance in an organization, right? So the first one, the strategic outcomes, right? So they are, when it comes to strategic outcomes, we have vision and business results. Under that, you find services for citizens, for the customers, support delivery of services, right? How much of support delivery you provided for your customers, management of government resources, and financial, right? Then when it comes to the customer results, customer satisfaction, service coverage, timeliness and responsiveness, service quality, service accessibility. All these comes under strategic outcomes, right? So in here we say mission and business critical results align with the level 1 and 3 of DRM. What do you mean by DRM? DRM stands for business relationship management, right? So then mission and business critical results align with the level 1 and 3 of business relationship management. This is very critical, right? When it comes to the customer relationship management and business relationship management, so these are very critical components, right? Customer satisfaction, service coverage, timeliness and responsiveness, service quality, service accessibility, right? With regard to customers, and when with mission and business results, important thing is that these results measure from the customer perspective, right? We we put our shoes, we put our foot into customer's shoes and check how these results are, right? Why that is important? Why we have this customer centered or customer perspective results measure? Because if we can't satisfy our customers, we don't have a future for our business. Simple as that. Right? Then we have the processes and activities. Under that we find financial, productivity and efficiency, right? Uh, Cycle and resource time, quality, management and innovation, right? So as output we find here the direct effect of day-to-day activities, right? The effect of day-to-day activities and broader processes measure as driven by desired outcome align with the level 2 of BRS. Here the process and activities should be aligned with the level 2 of business relationship management. Lastly, the inputs we say, right? People, technology, and other fixed assets. Under people, you have what? Employee satisfaction and quality of work life, recruitment, retention, employee development, employee ratios comes under people. Then the technology, financial, quality and efficiency, right? Information and data, reliability and availability, and user satisfaction. Other fixed assets like financial, quality, maintenance and efficiency, security, safety, and utilization. So under that you find key enablers measured through their contribution to outputs and by their extension and outcome, right? So here, when it comes to goals, metrics, measures, and KPI, most companies begin their strategy work with a vision statement. You know why we have this vision and mission in place? Because we want to express our strategy, right? So we want to communicate our strategy to the employees as well as all other stakeholders in our business, right? Then they write a more detailed document that describes their strategy. So once they formulated their vision statement, they write a very detailed document that describes their strategy. The statement is still pretty general, right? They formulate their vision statement, then they have a detailed document on describing their strategy. Next, most organizations translate their strategy statement, right? Translate their strategy statement into number of goals, right? The goals define specific things the company will have to do to realize the strategy, right? So then things a company will have to do to realize its strategy, right? The most organizations translate their strategies in a number of goals. So how do they translate their strategy statement into number of goals, right? They assign goals, right? Within the organization, they will say, okay, this is our goals with the marketing department. This is our goals with the production department, right? So that is the strategy statement translate into different goals. The goals define specific things to the company will have to do realize its strategy, right? So once you place a goal, let's say, okay, we will improve our sales volume by 20%, right, within this year. So that defines specific things to the company so that everyone in the organization would work on improving their sales by 20% at the end of the year, right? So that is realized by them, and that is it become their strategy, right? So work towards the increasement of the 20% of their sales within the organization. These strategic goals are often called critical success factors, right? These strategic goals often called critical success factor. Why we call it critical success factors? Because that determines your profitability of the organization, right? And again, your uh, whether you survive in the market or not, it's a very critical, right? Then we have in this diagram, we try to simplify it, right? So in the upper manner, we have discussed this in what do you call that, very extensively in earlier lessons, right? So when it comes to higher management or the upper management, if you want, high level business goals and objectives they set for the organization, right? So with regard to the middle management, what happens? Items that are vital for a strategy to be successful, right? Yes, right? Items that are vital for the strategy to be successful, we call it critical success factors. Then you have the analytics team, special metrics that tell you how you are doing, right? So they came up with the numbers, and here we say KPI, key performing indicators, your profitability, your sales, your expenditures, so on and so forth. All these must be measured, right? Then we have the analytics reports and information, right? Relationship of measures, ratios, averages, rates, and the percentage. All this comes under matrix. Then lastly we have analytics data, raw numbers and data, right? For example, web analytics data. How much of customers visited your site? How many of them? How many you have converted into fruitful sales? A number of customers who really buy, how they made the payment, whether it is credit card, web card, or any other means, right? Right? Information as such. And again, offline touch points and customer databases, email marketing. So all these information can be taken from analytics. Right? We can analyze them and come to conclusion. So we call them measures. Right? This is the hierarchy of KPI. Then we will take one by one. Right? First one we take goals. What do we mean by goal? So we find goals in football, like, right? So every player targeting that specific goal to hit the goal in. So that is their target, right? For here we say, for example, the strategy may call for market growth. A specific goal may be called for a 15% increase in sales in the fiscal coming year. Once an organization has its strategic goal, it needs to create hierarchy of more specific goals. They will say, for example, the strategy may be called for market growth. So they design their strategy like, okay, they call for market growth, right? So that is the strategy. They want to grow their market, right? So that they convert that into a specific statement, like saying specific goal may call for 15% increase in the sales for the fiscal coming year. Coming fiscal year, they will increase 15% of their sales. Once an organization has its strategic goals, it needs to create a hierarchy of more specific goals. Like once they need it, they need a hierarchy of more specific goals. Like here they say these specific goals are usually called matrix or measures. So these specific goals we call matrix or measures. We will use the two terms as synonymous. Thus, our general goal is 50% increase in sales might get passed on to the head of the widget division sales team and be restated. The widget sales team will increase the sales of widgets by 15% in the coming fiscal year. When it comes to the sales department, the widget sales, so marketing manager will communicate it by saying, so within this year we need to improve, we need to increase most organizations begin with number of strategic goals and then generate lots of additional goals and measures. These are often supplemented by another whole set of measures that the functional units have tracked for years. Thus, the sales department may have a number of different measures to use to determine if salespeople are doing their job in the number of prescribed by the department's sales procedures manual. Right here you have an example. Right. So we have set the strategic goals of this particular company in SEO content. So that with regard to this production and marketing fit, these are the strategy to find the product market fit of our service. To find the product market fit of our service. So what is the key performing indicator? Definition of buyer persona. What is the persona?